it's pretty dead music wise.
Yeah.
Aside from like some like shows that are coming up, that would be pretty good to go see.
Yeah, but no, we welcome.
News-wise, yeah.
Welcome.
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 Welcome to Drag the Lake. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Malfrey, and with me as always, the great Pat George. Pat, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great.
I'm doing good.
I'm doing good.
No, we were just talking about how realizing this is our first December together as a music podcast.
I mean,
no, we've had
at least consistency wise. Like
what episode number are we on?
I don't even know at this point.
We're on like 100 something.
Oh yeah, so I mean maybe yeah.
Yeah, I stopped like
52
putting
weeks
the
in a
numbers
year.
in for some reason at one point, and then I go, no, I should do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's nice to know how many episodes you've done. Oh, yeah, this will be 108. So we've at least done, well, I guess that's almost 2 years.
No, that's just a
That's
little
over 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So at this point, yeah, but it's been relatively slow news-wise for music news, but there's still some things that we have to talk about. There was another celebrity spotted at a hardcore show, which is pretty fucking rad.
Yeah, that was
very off the cuff, very weird, out of nowhere kind of one. But also, if I'm being completely honest, from what I know of the person, not completely out of character that you would see them at. Like,
no, not at all. What Pat is talking about is John Waters showed up to a Trap Under Ice show.
Famed fake director.
I
I was gonna say queer director. Well, queer, yeah, gay guy. Director of
Wait, John Waters?
super gay. Yeah.
Wait.
You might remember him from The Simpsons and the episode where featuring Zap, where he was.
You might remember him from being the super gay guy in that one show.
remember that gay episode. Not Smithers, but there's like a weird thing where he was at a Trapped Under Ice show, which is really cool.
That's always
considering-
fun. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about before, there were like way bigger celebrities where, like Billie Eilish was in the background of Knock Loose, which that was at a festival, so that kind of made more sense.
Yeah.
But like Drain did the back area of like a taco restaurant, and fucking Post Malone showed up.
Right,
So
yeah.
hardcore, because I think like non-hardcore fans can identify with it because it's one of those genres that's written for the live performance.
Yeah.
It's like I think every good hardcore band is always thinking about, okay, we got to put a part in so they can two-step, and we got to make sure there's parts so they can actually move. Because it's you know what the irony of a hardcore audience is, if you really crunch the numbers, most of the audience is standing still.
Yeah.
But if that middle where the pit is if that's standing still, you're not doing a good job.
You're not doing good, yeah.
And you need that pit to move. So I think hardcore, while, you get a lot of those people going like, what are they even saying? Which that's honestly, in my opinion, got to be the dumbest way to get into any fucking music genre. It's like, I don't know what half these bands are saying. Any of them. Any band ever. I don't know what the fuck
Think
they're
about
saying.
one of the biggest pop songs in history is "Hey Ya." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, it's subjective. We all know it's subjective, but this has that feel like. So whereas those other things, and even something like one of those the Kardashian broads was at a Knock Loose show, like with Travis Barker.
Or Speed.
Speed? Was it
Yeah,
Speed?
it was Speed.
Either way, Speed.
Speed!
There was I think there's an amount of cool points kind of being, because I'm even thinking of like, what the fuck is Travis Barker doing there? You know what I'm saying? Like, even at this point, because he is very much,
Well,
he's very much presented himself as, I'm the cool hip hop drummer guy that also plays rock music, but never necessarily hard. I never think Travis Barker hardcore guy.
I believe he started in like the SoCal like punk scene, So I got to imagine because of that, he's got some interest in like popular hardcore bands and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't guess he's deep into hardcore, but if you're hip to music and heavy music in general, Speed, they're not huge, but you know about them.
This is the most natural feeling of any like celebrity spotted at a hardcore show.
Yo, you're 100% right. When people are like, "Can you believe John Waters is at Trapped Under Ice?" and I go,
"Yeah,
I can't explain why, but yes, this is for some reason." Because, dude, like, if you know John Waters, like, he got famous for making movies where drag queens were eating dog shit in them.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
John Waters is the king of fucking crazy shit. So, to be perfectly honest, him sitting side stage at, you know, one of the most iconic hardcore band shows, you're like, yeah, he probably just is like...
He may know them. Like, I'm like I would not even be saying, like, maybe they're... Like, when I found out Tom Papa's good friends with Rob Zombie... I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be weird connections.
Those ones are fun
in this thing, but like
you figure out Stanhope's best friends with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I like
where you're
that.
like, yeah, it's a thing where it's because it makes sense because they're probably people that they feel like they can be like they don't have to be John Waters there. They can just go there and watch a fucking hardcore show, and nobody there is gonna recognize them, and nobody. But this has a feeling of like I think we all have this. This is the way I wanted to bring it up. I think we all have that friend that either we work with or maybe you've known your whole life or kind of like whatever that like diametrically is kind of opposed to most of the entertainment things you like. Like whether it be movies or even mostly music in a lot of our cases. We're kind of open to a lot of things, but like something like Lemaire transferring over to liking hardcore music and actually enjoying and embracing the culture of it.
You should have seen me the day I found out he listened to Knock Loose.
Yeah.
I literally did like 4 times in a row. I go, you listen to Knock Loose.
Like by yourself.
You're not fucking with me.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, you're being dead serious.
Yeah.
Dude, and that was like, I remember when
when you found out he likes Amur, I'm like, that is fucking cool.
Well, dude,
that's the weird part. Knock Loose is kind of like they were trending a bit. Like there was like some kind of like
Amur's
celebrity
like an old school. They're not old school, but
that's when I go like Lemaire's an actual. Or if you see John Waters at a Trapped Under Ice show, he's not like not at Drain or what's the one that everybody is fucking flicking their bean over for the longest time. Turnstile. Everybody's like, Turnstile's so good. Everybody go to Turnstile show. Who's talking about Turnstile? Has anybody mentioned Turnstile lately? Yeah, because they're done. They got popular. About? People enjoy. I've always loved Turnstile. Turnstile's my favorite band. I can't believe they're finally getting the celebrity they deserve. Oh, now everybody's favorite band is Knock Loose. Now all those same people are saying Knock Loose. You fucking clout chasing cunts. Fuck you. Listen to All Shall Perish.
Yeah.
But sorry. If I don't see Justin Timberlake at the Poison the Well reunion tour.
If I don't see Justin Timberlake in the pit for nerdy, I just got to let you go on those because I just go you're like, who's talking about Turnstile? I go, I mean, I don't know. It's the internet.
Nobody.
It's all super hyper specific.
But that's what I'm saying.
But I get
they got hot, and everybody was like, "I've always loved them. They're my favorite."
Now, I mean, well, I'll say this though.
Fuck Turnstile.
Let's wait.
They're not hardcore. They're a rock band. They're basically
though.
Eve 6.
They were though.
They're Eve 6.
But we're talking about.
Sorry. I got real off track there, didn't I? I'm really sorry about that. This is not a good one. This was a bad.
I say it all the time. The bands, unless you're cool like Capra, the band should not listen to this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, we're not. I'm not a good fan.
If you're in a band, don't listen to 2 retards in their fucking spare room talking about you. I am
a toxic fan.
No.
I'm a cancer.
Well, no. Here's why. Because if you do listen to Turnstile's old shit, it's much more hardcore oriented. But here's the irony of us bringing up fucking Trapped Under Ice. You know who the lead singer used to play drums for? The lead singer of Turnstile used to play drums for?
Coheed and Cambria.
No, Trapped Under Ice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I did do that. Oh,
he
wow.
was the lead singer of Turnstile was Trapped Under Ice's old drummer.
So John Waters is just a clout chaser. He's like, I liked them before they were cool.
Oh, I like that. Well, Trapped Under Ice is going through a cool thing where I just listened to a podcast with their guitarist, and they were one of those bands where they were like, basically their whole career, they're like, Yeah, we just did it for fun because we didn't have any other option because we never made money doing it. And now with the advent of the festival scene, and now hardcore is becoming way more popular than it was like in the early.
They're kind of getting that legacy treatment that they deserve.
They're getting a cool legacy treatment. And they're actually now, I see them playing all the fucking time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like there is
and also, sorry, last thing, lead singer of Trapped Under Ice is also in a band called Angel Dust, who's pretty popular, and they play pretty regular, so that's also keeping them in the zeitgeist.
I just feel like in general, like truly, as somebody who is a
John Waters is a poser.
A music. Well, no, I'm going back. I'm going back to the Turnstile argument because that's the thing of like I've heard of Trapped Under Ice. I will admit, and I say this a lot of times. I've heard of that band.
You're saying,
but I have not really been I haven't delved into it.
I think I'm about to get on board with what you're gonna say.
I never heard of the band Turnstile once, and I'm no fucking schmuck. Okay, I'm not some fucking dickhead sitting around going like, "What? What's hardcore? Are you gonna crowd kill? What does that mean?"
Wait, why would that make you a baby?
Oh, I'm into the which. Oh, which hardcore? I need my binky. You just start talking like a baby.
I mean, they're immature. They're idiots.
I'm not just shitting in my pants in my crib, being like, "Who's Turnstile?"
They're the same fucking dummies that'll make like a TikTok video of them doing some fucking dance to a Kubla Khan song. Yeah. And I'll admit, I didn't know much about Kubla Khan until you introduced me to them.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say. But there's not a lot of people going like, "I've been a fan of theirs forever," except for like maybe a handful of people that I believe.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is like,
honestly,
there's no way that this many people loved Turnstile this whole time. And then I hear Turnstile and I go, what is this?
No, I think Turnstile is a good band. Glow On was a good album. But I do think Turnstile got linked up with a solid PR team. Because it went from... I would occasionally hear people talking about Turnstile to now they're just like on a bunch of shit all the time. I go, oh, you got... And dude, it's like fucking music fans love a moment. So if you can feel... If there's an inorganic moment that's being disguised as organic, music fans love to glob onto it. Like, I saw it with Knock Loose where I love Knock Loose, but the day their album came out, you just see all these big accounts being like, dude, is this already album of the year? And you like realize you're like, oh, okay, you guys are gonna like. I don't even know if it's not, but like you've already decided because it feels right that Knocked Loose is gonna be album of the year.
Yeah, and this is my point. Like with Turnstile and for even this is another case. Like after that, with Knocked Loose, I feel like I'm being marketed to.
Yes,
and it doesn't, and unfortunately, in my opinion, it sucks.
I think you're 100% right about that.
It doesn't mean like it. I think these things like, unfortunately, I think a lot of these, not that they're plants. I don't mean that they're necessarily like they're being like, but maybe
they get like the rocket.
Maybe Speed and Travis Barker have the same management team. And they said, hey, it would be a good look if we saw you and your wife at the side stage. Do you know that band Speed? And they go, oh, yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, hey, look, can we get just a little photo op of you guys standing on the side of the stage?
Travis, just a couple steps forward.
Yeah, go over there. And then let me get you and the drummer. Let me get you and the flute together.
There's a guy behind Travis. Just like, just a little farther, Travis.
And him doing it.
What the hell?
But, like, I wonder if there's an element to this where these bands are getting... I got you, buddy. These bands are getting these... I've earned the hat.
But I'm self-conscious because when I put it on, I really need a haircut.
I told you once my hair starts doing that little wing thing under the hat, that's when I feel like I need it now. But like with these, they're not. I wonder if these bands are getting linked up or have these management companies that are maybe not planting this, but encouraging like, oh, let's get the shot of Billie Eilish, get the shot of Billie Eilish, get the shot of Post Malone.
Without a doubt. I was just talking about this where. YouTuber I really like, Matty Balls. God damn it, I hate reality.
Change your name.
No, I love his videos because he makes hip hop videos about rap and hip hop, and like all the Jay-Z news comes out, and the next day he goes, "Here's a list of every Jay-Z allegation." You're like, "Thanks, Matty Balls." Yeah. He's got cool shit like that, and he just started talking about the advent of all these rappers are now going on like Kai Cenat streams and doing shit like that. Do you think it wasn't recording?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what? This gold?
I've been in this goddamn house for so long. No, but so rappers now are like, rather than they're prioritizing like streamers now over going on like the Breakfast Club or some shit, just because like doing a fucking 6-hour stream with Kai Cenat, that's going to sell you more shit than doing fucking 50 legacy media interviews are going to do.
Yeah.
And the one thing, though, that people have to accept this about the music industry is, like, the, like, behind-the-scenes stuff or the whole, like, that guy's actually friends with that guy. It's all substantially more inorganic than anyone truly realizes.
It's way more staged.
It's like people are watching this where, like, we're like, oh, you notice, like, Nicki Minaj goes on Kai Cenat's stream, and then just, like, 2 weeks later, her album comes out. And you're like, yeah, they're not friends.
It happens. No, seriously, this happens. Like, I've noticed it. So there's been a handful of shows that I've noticed this with lately, and I don't mean this as a critique. This is exactly why I'm not. I may or may not understand it, but I definitely understand why I'm not a success. It's because there's shows like Are You Garbage? Hot Ones was another one. A couple of these other like shows that were like not small by any means, built something so big, but at a certain point, I think get a management company or a booking agent that starts getting them huge names that you start going like, well, this doesn't feel right because they don't know that this is like where Hot Ones became a thing where like Bert Kreischer was somebody who was like a fan of it that eventually got to be a guest, and everybody kind of like the reason that made it cool and special wasn't just the subject matter. It was the fact that it was a smaller show that everybody liked and would say like, oh, have you done this? Have you done this? And it turned out to be a good interview. I'm not saying that I like to see these shows succeed, but there also gets to a point where they're like, Are You Garbage has like Paul Reiser on. And you're like, Paul Reiser is not going. They don't do a natural show necessarily.
I think the key to that
it becomes so unnatural in that sense.
Yeah, and I think the key to that is always being like, are we going to give the people a good product? Because I think like the best thing for everyone is like, it's like with all these artists or comedians and doing all the shit where you're like linking up trying to promote each other's shit. It's like, I feel like the best move is to look at it and go, does this make sense? Are we going to give them a good product? And then when you give them a good product, they're going to be more natural to be like, oh, I like that. Who is that guy? Fucking Lil Yachty was on Kai Cenat's stream. Let me go do this fucking thing.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like you were saying, and I don't know how the Paul Reiser, and shout out to Are You Garbage. It's
it was a fine show, but it was a little awkward because
you saw that with like Two Bears, One Cave when they got more popular.
That's another one. Yeah.
That happens though, because like I've seen many people go like, yeah, I was really excited for this interview, and then that guy ended up being weird, and it was like, they were just talking about it with Howie Mandel, and like no beef with Howie or anything, but he was doing the pod with the two kids from The Sopranos, and just for some reason he was kind of a dick that day.
Yeah,
like shit just fucking happens. But I think it's when you're like when you sort of look at it and go, obviously we're doing this to try to make money, but how can we give the people a solid product? And I think as long as you have that mindset of like, let's give the people a solid product, you're fine. I don't give a fuck. It's where you were saying, if Speed's management,
right, they're not taking away from the show.
If Speed's management like went up to Travis Barker and was like, hey, do you mind staying side stage for the boys? I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying if that happened, he was like, do you mind staying side stage for the boys? I go, it's kind of lame.
No, but but that's what I'm saying is like, that's the stuff that we don't like, that I don't do, that I think I need to change. Is like, that's quote, putting yourself out there, because either they share the same management company and they're like, hey, you know, like, just do the company a little favor. You mind? You're here already. You're in town. You're already at the festival. Whatever it may be, any of those things, and be like, just stand here. And as long as they're not changing anything about the show, like, you know what I'm saying, like if they change the lighting so they can get a better shot, or if they make them redo a thing, you know what I'm saying, like if it's like if they turn it into a production, then that's an issue. But this is, I think, a good happy medium between where a band like Speed or Drain or any of these other bands that want to get that extra nudge or something, like a little bit more exposure, these are very innovative ways of not affecting the artist's work while exposing them.
That's a big element of it too.
Yeah.
It's like, just don't.
I'm not against it. I think it is a little weird, but I think it is kind of what you need to do. You need to be like, hey, you know, we can use that where it's not going to harm you. They're not like, they're a good band. They're not like, they don't align with stuff against your politics. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be.
You guys make sense together.
Right. This makes it and this is a thing where, like, maybe fans that like John Waters would like Trapped Under Ice, but I think more likely than not, this is probably a situation where he is either friends with somebody in the band, or this was my fun way of thinking about it. He kind of gives me that energy of that friend that would be down to come. You know Kirk Griffiths,
love him.
Comic back in PA, hilarious fella, very very interesting fella.
Yeah, he's
somebody.
Kirk's the guy you'll meet, and you're gonna be wrong about a lot of things. You
cannot
assume
assume one goddamn thing about it.
Yeah,
I mean you can, and you may be right. You may get lucky, but Kirk,
you could assume a couple things about him.
Kirk
but
is a very unique individual.
He's gonna hit you with some decent curveballs where you go, "Oh, you like that?
Yeah, interesting.
No shit."
So,
Kirk's also the type of dude that is clearly he's smarter than you.
Yes.
And then when you talk to him, he doesn't make you feel dumb.
Not at all.
He's the best.
He kind of, and he seems like a good supportive friend who is open to most new experiences. So like, he's somebody that I heard about going to a metal show, or he posted, you know, something of the Pit or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he was like on the mouth of the Pit. And I think it was a friend of his band that was playing.
Yeah.
But they were playing with somebody else, and I was just like, it was kind of one of those things where this kind of gives me that feeling of like, of John Waters was like, sure, I'll go see Trapped Under Ice. Sure. Sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll come see your band. You know what I mean? Like, kind of thing of like, oh my God, that was so fun. You guys, that was so raw. And, you know, like, he would be somebody that would appreciate it and be supportive. But like, this seems like the most natural of all of them. It's the funniest thing, where every other one could seem like possibly a management stunt or plant or whatever it may be. But it could just be as simple as maybe they are fans, maybe they're not. But I think the photo op and stuff like that was like an opportunistic thing of like, this is going to help get more eyes or ears on Speed, Drain, any of this thing, to say like, you might like them because this person likes them, or whether anything, just a Google search. Who the fuck is this? Where was Post Malone? So like, it's just I think it is an interesting, cool thing, but it also seems like another thing that is in that same vein of being marketed to and being told like for but that's how bands, we know that about the Grammys considerations. You have to pay, you have to concede, you have to
submit for that,
you have to lobby for it, you have to get votes essentially.
I think,
so like there are certain things that bands nowadays that are, I don't even want to say unknown, but like just less financially successful. I don't even know what to say because I don't know how to measure. It's how you measure success.
It's
mainstream.
Yeah, let's keep it a buck. Like, Speed is a great band. You remember how big the venue they played was? Bro. They're not big.
That was one of the best shows. Like, looking back, that was one of the best shows I think I've ever been to. That was so much fucking fun.
I mean, every hardcore show I've been, you know, besides that minute where I got hit while watching Tsunami.
Yeah, Jesus Piece was really great.
But all the hardcore shows I've been to have been fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't know. What was I going to say before? Yeah, I could see it because there are certain bands. It's hard to really tell. Like you were saying with the Speed and Travis Barker thing, it's hard to tell. That one feels pretty organic, but there is definitely like, you know, there are people with that sort of mindset where, because once you get like, I'm trying to think of the phrase. like I know the opposite of it. Once you get pegged as like, ugh, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Then like that kind of, it can stick with you with like certain people, but I guess a lot of people like that's though sort of.
You got over it.
What?
Huh?
I haven't. That's why I'm still doing a podcast with you. Ooh.
That hurt my butt. I tried to hurt your butt, but you hurt my butt.
Yeah, we're butt buddies now. With both hurt butts.
Yeah, just now.
No, but what was I trying to say? I don't know.
That it's not the worst way to do it, and I don't think it's unnatural or wrong for a band want to succeed or to.
It is what it is, dude. A lot of people, music fans, I've said it a bunch of times before. Music fans need to get rid of that allergy to financial profit. It's like, dude, bands gotta make money. It's so. I've never been in a touring band or anything, but from what I've gathered, it's so fucking hard. Yeah. And if it's like even twice as hard as trying to be a successful comedian, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like when I don't think a lot of people truly respect how fucking hard it is to like be in a band who is also like not selling out, and then on top of that, you're a hardcore band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like not like Knock Loose getting as popular as they are is genuinely insane. Like I still don't, it doesn't completely make sense to me, except for the fact that they're kind of like the it band at the moment. So that's giving them a lot of momentum, but like it's so obviously you don't want bands to be making money in like whorish sellouty ways, but people just gotta get rid of that allergy to like bands making a goddamn profit. It's not the end of the fucking world. It's not like the fucking, just because, you know, everyone's afraid of capitalism and they're afraid of like anyone making a goddamn living. It's like, dude, are they still being true to themselves? Are the songs sounding different? Are they fucking doing some weird, lame bullshit? No? Then let them make the goddamn bucks.
Yeah, let them have it.
Let them. You gotta play the game.
You gotta play.
You gotta play the game sometimes.
Gotta play the game.
You gotta play the game. Anyone who's acted like they haven't played the game, you're actually probably playing the game.
You're probably an idiot, and it sucks. And is stupid.
It's funny. You know, I was like, long term. It's why I was thinking about with Kubla Khan is. At first, I was getting really annoyed that people were like, oh, man, just being super gay over the fucking fact that, like, they might not be left-wing, they might be conservative or whatever. Or, like, God forbid, Matt Honeycutt likes a picture of a guy holding a Trump flag, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, but they're not going to be... I was like, this might actually help them. Because they're just too good. They're going to be successful. But it actually might help them if they're not... If they can get successful and not be the cool band... Yeah. That's gonna rule so hard.
Right. That's what I liked about, like, that's what I love about a lot of the things that the bands I love are growing up, like a band like Slayer or a band like NoFX or something like that, where they have had mainstream exposure.
Yeah.
But they were never a mainstream thing.
They were never cool.
Yeah, they were never fully accepted, and it's not because they're not marketable or they don't have the fan base or anything like that. I think it probably has more to do with the fact that like they're not willing to compromise, and that's what made them popular. Same thing with Kubla Khan. Kubla Khan, the thing that I think that backfires with a lot of bands with that angle at least, and it happens with even kind of comics sometimes too, is once a regular run of the middle of the road kind of comic may get canceled or exposed for being a terrible person or whatever the fuck it may be. Yeah. Louis C.K. Then he starts kind of doing these jokes where like people are like, no, he's just doing right wing jokes, or like kind of or like Nick DiPaolo, or when they lean into it and they specifically, oh, you ever see Hillary Clinton? And you're just like, you're still doing Hillary jokes, bro. I think that's when they. So as long as Kubla Khan stays true to who they are, that's how you can be like, because that's what Slayer like. You just don't respond to that.
No, that was actually thing. That's why Louis. I mean, he's not accepted by like the mainstream because they're still fucking being lame about it, but. Like, that was the thing about Louis, is he still was like Louis the whole time.
Well, remember when he started? But even still, like, and that's what I'm saying. But then they started to try to like view it in the skew of like he's doing right wing. They only start leaking his shit over like, look, he's talking about guns and he's talking about
they
this.
Go to the 1 minute you talk about. That's what they. Dude, that's what they're trying to. It's so funny. They're trying to do that with Bill Burr right now, and I get so fucking annoyed because he's like. The right-wing people try to make him like, oh, he's the fucking free speech, anti-cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, I'm sure he believes in free speech, and I'm sure he's talked shitty on... But you're like, he's not this, like, guy... He's not this caricature of a comedian you're forcing him into.
Right.
And a lot of the right-wing people get... Because, like, that's the funny thing right-wing people always do, where they, like, they'll be, like, good, and then you'll be like... People who run corporations a lot of them are probably evil, and a lot of CEOs are probably like fucking cunts. Dude, don't get me wrong. There's probably a lot of CEOs that are fucking chill dudes. They may be a little bit more vicious than the other person, but like the idea that someone hates corporations or may just knee-jerk hate a CEO, you're like, are you just gonna pretend like that's a random opinion?
Well, it's the same thing with like even somebody that like. How both I know that this has been like brought up before. I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've heard this brought up, this comparison before of like how both sides try to claim George Carlin, and you're like both
you're right.
Liberals and conservatives both, and if you depending on what part of his set you pick, both are right. And that's the point. That's what comics, that's the thing I loved about comedy, trying to get into this, was the fact that we aren't supposed to influence decisions. We are supposed to provoke thought and provoke discussion. Like whether it be you doing crowd work with a couple and then you're like, oh, that's going to be an argument on the way home. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we do. We like when people say, oh, the modern day philosophers, any of that shit. I think that's that's giving it more grandiose things that it is. It's not saying that it's not important, but the conversations and I think the opinions had by most comics are supposed to be like personal and individual, not necessarily taking a side always. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also too,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
no,
it's a situation where it's just
I know what you're getting at. Yeah,
like somebody like Whitney Cummings, who is like, did you hear about the joke she just made on New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah,
about Joe Biden.
I just posted a video about that on the Big Red, aka Andy Malfred. I thought the jokes were fine.
Yeah,
I thought they were funny. I was more annoyed at like CNN, like watching Anderson Cooper on CNN be like, oh, just be like, no. You work on the channel that help promote all the bullshit. And you don't get to be coy and playful about this.
And that's he's a bad audience member. Because it's one of those things where you're like, I'm making a good observation or a good joke, and you're no-selling it. That's not fair.
Oh, see,
you invited me here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing where they're just doing this thing where you're like one of those things of like, oh, like that's a very funny, good point. And if you're denying that it's a legitimate point.
Do we just barefoot?
Yeah. No, I got socks on.
No,
but like the fact that like
I gotta fuck you.
Anderson Cooper is like sitting there going like, oh boy, like that is the kind of shit that it kind of like that pisses me off in audiences because it's this weird thing of like, grow up, like grow the fuck up.
I had a slightly
and you hired a comic. You're hiring comics to do these things. They're gonna say this is what they should be doing. Not that they have to be offensive or that they have to be anything, but they have to be true to
I had a slightly different reaction to that because, in my opinion, when you watch the video, he doesn't laugh out loud or anything, but he's like smirking at everything, which to me almost acknowledges like the truth of the jokes. And I'm just like, no, you CNN pundit don't get to fucking do that.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's making a joke about, because like we all joke about Joe Biden being a fucking corpse just to like deal with it. But if you really sit there and go like, no, it's actually kind of fucking crazy. They've been like just fucking weeking at Weekend at Bernie's is the president for the past fucking 4 years.
Yeah.
And it just like, you see like these corporate press entities who are like, what's wrong with him? Up until he has a bad debate performance, that's when they were finally like, I think something's up. But before that, they're like, there's nothing wrong. And then when Whitney Cummings make a joke, Anderson Cooper's kind of like, oh, you Whitney. You're like, no, you don't get to fucking
That's a
do
real
that.
strange thing to say, Whitney. And it's
You're
like,
like,
you don't, yeah.
I don't know. It just fucking, that's the kind of shit where I'm like, CNN, don't do comedy where you like poke fun at the shit you've been lying about for the past fucking forever.
But that's what it should be. You should book a comic that you feel is going to be safe and be within your guidelines, and you should always be unpleasantly surprised, because that's the thing, is like, it shouldn't be that you
should be looking at all those jokes she says as like, what are you talking about? 'Cause
right.
if you don't, you're revealing you're all a bunch of liars.
Right. And then when it comes down to like some of the most consistent performers I've seen lately, or that I've seen over in my lifetime, one of which being Bill Burr, with his thoughts, his beliefs, and everything, growing naturally over time and changing and evolving, has been very consistent in his
like,
point of
don't
view.
get mad at Bill Burr because you have just started paying attention to him, and he's not the guy you want him to be.
He's never been a crazy right wing. He's never been a crazy left wing. He's always been a crazy Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I feel like. That's the kind of shit that I try to aspire to, of being like, I'm not always going to come down on one side of an argument. I'm not always going to meet eye to eye with one political belief or one religious belief or one anything belief, because I think you should grow and change over time, and things grow and change over time.
Well, and that's,
I went in my lifetime, I went from people realizing and knowing what weather patterns are and fog and clouds, and now people are going, what is this?
well,
Is this poison?
the general nature of
idiots.
the general nature of what makes like a good joke, actually, I think that's why all the best comics are able to be on both sides of an issue, or at least not be on both sides, but understand both sides of the issue at a pretty good way, because like, just the inherent structure of a joke forces you to see all sides of a situation.
Yeah.
Because if you go like whatever the fucking COVID, if you like, say if you just talk about COVID and you only make jokes from the right wing perspective, it's like you're gonna alienate like a good. Don't worry about it.
Is that the guy that got shit on?
No, this has been popping up forever, and it's not an issue. It's just they're just trying to get me to spend money. But the general nature of jokes, that's what I was saying. Yeah, the general nature of jokes, like if you just went up and you talked about COVID and you only gave like the right wing perspective, it would be boring, and half the audience would just be alienated, and you wouldn't be doing good. So just where if you just go up and do that and you notice half the audience is not laughing, it's gonna force you to go like, all right, how do I make the other half of that audience laugh? So I think the nature of being a good comedian also kind of helped, because I'm the same way. Like, I know we always joke where I'm a libertarian, but like, I mean, I am, but like, I believe in that from like, because it's like a solid legal theory, and I think all that shit's right. But at the same time, like, I'll go and do a thing where it could be like a right wing sort of leaning thing. Like, we went to Range Day the other day, and that was like super fun. But then like, there's that one place, half priced books. And I just go, you don't get this if you don't get goofy left-wing people. Or everyone always makes the jokes. I go, there are people, I've seen it online where they're like, hey man, I may be a red-blooded American, but I better get a they them making my coffee. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, that's why you need that's why everybody's good, because there's certain things you're like, you know what I mean? If you're going to a coffee shop, I want to see some purple hair. If I'm going to get grass-fed beef, I want to see a fucking cowboy.
Yeah, I think there's certain aspects of you. If you're going to a range, you want a guy wearing these pair of shades, telling you how to handle the gun and where to point it.
Yeah, if you're buying thermite, you want a guy with those glasses.
I just feel like there's so many different there's just so many different parts where I think like a band like Kubla Khan, as long as they stay, like, they can make whatever statement politically, religiously that they want. They have that freedom. They're able to do that. And as long as they continue to make the art that they are, and they're not like, that's never been their stance, I guess. I don't know how to put it. They've never been like, we're going to make hardline political statements and all this stuff of like, if you're searching for something to hate this guy about, that's more of a projection on you than it is the band and or him.
Yeah.
Like it's this thing of like, well, people look up to you, dude. Shut the fuck up. People need to learn that they're diverse and you're not going to always meet eye to eye.
Yeah.
Politically, socially, whatever it may be with everybody that you come in contact with. And that's what's supposed to be society. But what it ends up being is everything just becomes the argument of like, again, like we talked about this, like everything always gets politicized, and that's the other thing. So
yeah, you
so
got to start selling retards.
But the thing that frustrates me is when it happens to people like Bill Burr, where just the world changes enough to where, like, there's been plenty of times where he says shit that people like. He specifically does that a lot of times. He'll say a crazy, fucked up thing. That's the premise of the joke, and then go into the jokes about it, and then you go, oh, he's doing jokes about it.
Well, it's just
and
like,
it's a situation where it's the same thing with it was my argument a lot of times with people being so pissed off about the bum fights videos back in the day. I was always just like, well, do something about the homeless.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, if there is,
go give them heroin so they don't have to fight for it.
yeah, go. Like, it's a thing where like a lot of times it comes down to, and this is part of the issues with society of like, somebody will fix that. Like every once in a while, if that's a situation that you can fix, try to fix it, and that's how we'll actually get a little bit better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well,
where
people
instead of just being like, he believes that, he must be evil.
Well, people also too have that like they can't. It feels fucked up to say, but when it comes to like bum fights, that is a thing where you're like, you know, it's awful, but you also are like, I can't do anything about that. And then also people making a stink about it.
Just let them go back to rotting on the streets, damn it.
Yeah, you're
also,
like,
that's your argument. You're not like, hey, we need to do something about the homeless.
Yeah.
You're just saying like it's not the solution. The solution isn't to shame the people that are doing the bum fights thing. It's to do something about the bums, you dumb.
People also have
people
also have like an autistic thing about it where they feel that it's like people don't, I don't know. It's like they don't view life in a realistic way. Like they don't want to accept all the like darkness in life. And I'm not trying to be fucking emo about it, but it's like they don't want to accept all the darkness in life when it's like, you know, so they see that, and I guess it's a good instinct to be like, we shouldn't have bum fights. But it's like, I don't think they truly want to accept. It's like, I don't think you care about this as much as you think you do.
Right.
I think...
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's like, just accept that you're going to see bum fights, you're going to go, oh, and then you're going to move on with your life.
Don't buy it. Like that's,
and also,
that's unfortunately, it's a situation where there's a lot of times where nobody's willing to accept that, like, this is something that I don't agree with, but do I disagree with it enough to make a stink about it? And some people just got all the time in the fucking world, or just don't have that perspective going like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is just something I think, and it doesn't actually change anything.
They're also bad at understanding scale. Because, like, when's the last time you saw anything like bum fights?
Also, truly evil. Like, truly evil things. The bum fight shit, there's a lot of crazy evil things done.
Yeah. And most bum fights, people also got to, like, for bum fights specifically, that didn't last as long as people like think. It wasn't like it was a cultural phenom. It was something everyone saw and go, well, that's super fucked up.
Right. And they're like, I gotta see this. And then some people were like, I don't want to see that. And then there's other people that are like, I'm not gonna see that, and I don't think anyone should.
What's the irony of like the Streisand effect is people go like, this is a problem, we need to talk about it, and then you talk about it and actually makes it a bigger problem than it was.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, you're like, well, we need to solve this issue and we need to stop doing bum fights. And you're like, but there's so many bums that were willing to do these crazy things. Do you think that's an issue? Sure, I mean, yeah, sure. But, you know, one thing at a time.
Pat, can I ask you a question?
Huh.
Are you starting a bum fight league?
Not a league. A channel. We got an app.
Instead of power slap, you're just starting power bum.
Yeah, power bomb. Hey, dude, I gotta tell you, it was a lot of mix up with the gay community for a while. I'm a power bottom.
That does sound like a
It's
modern.
not the same.
You're like, I have the power bomb.
No, power bum.
There was another topic you had. Oh no, there's a topic I had.
Yeah.
That I wanted to talk about this because we forgot to talk about it initially, and then it kind of came back because they're announcing the lineup in a month.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Warped Tour was back.
Yeah.
And
Look out, underage girls.
yeah, get ready. You thought you weren't going to get fingered this year.
They're like,
I regret that joke.
Don't worry, you will.
But yeah, Warped Tour's back, which I don't know. I'm like, it's not super surprising with the success of, well, actually not Sick New World. They had to cancel Sick New World.
We were young. When we
Yeah.
were young, right?
There's the success of We Were Young. And honestly, we kind of talked about it with Trapped Under Ice, where a lot of these bands, they may not have been super popular in their heyday, but there's just like renaissance going on where people, it's like the festival scene.
Getting their legacy lap.
Yeah, the festival scene's giving a lot of these bands their legacy
Refuse
lap.
got it.
Dude, fuck it. Like you see, I saw, I think it's the club in the downtown, Stubbs.
Oh yeah.
Like Hawthorne Heights was playing it, and like, dude, I bet you like 10 years ago, Hawthorne Heights could barely fill a small venue, and now Stubbs is like couple hundred. They're not doing an arena tour like fucking My Chemical Romance is, but I bet you the lead singer of Hawthorne Heights is pretty happy he can fill like just shy of 1,000-seater.
Yeah.
I bet you he's not
In
upset about that.
2024, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
but this part was interesting to me.
You said they announced the lineup, you said?
No, so they're
Okay.
gonna announce the lineup.
Okay,
but I
okay.
thought the venue choices were interesting.
Okay.
Washington, D.C., Long Beach, actually that's not crazy, Long Beach, California, and then Orlando, Florida. They're only doing 3.
Dude, I'll tell you. So this is crazy. I grew up in Florida, and I think I realized just recently, because when I was living there, when I was growing up, I never thought of like this.
That's where I was. I just realized
I just
recently.
realized it was fucking Tampa, Florida. No, but the teams never felt like professional teams to me. They always felt like Florida teams. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, so like the Bucks never felt like an NFL, and it didn't feel like NFL. It felt like the Bucks. These guys.
Oh, okay.
Like it just didn't feel. There was no luster to it necessarily.
Yeah.
It didn't have that hometown pride kind of shit
Aren't the teams
necessarily.
pretty good now?
Now, yeah, but like at a certain point,
Our
when
Lightning are doing good.
well, yeah, our Lightning are huge.
Lightning,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're in the. They've secured a wild card spot as of right now, but it's still halfway through the season.
Pat.
About
I know.
I know. I'm just letting them know.
I know that.
I'm just catching them up on
Let
our
them
conversation.
know.
Our daily
I don't
conversation.
need to know this info. I know this info. Yeah, get a haircut.
But like, so there was always a
like
thing.
the fat kid in Willy Wonka.
Yeah, but not just today. Like every day. But and plus, he turned blue, not red.
No, the girl turned blue. I'm talking about the fat kid who fell into the chocolate
Augustus
river.
Gloop.
I thought the girl turned into a blueberry.
You're right. yeah.
Augustus Gloop ate the.
He fell in the chocolate river.
Bro, I know all about the Candy movie.
Hey, you were in it. There's but I think there's a relevance or importance to Tampa and or like Central Florida in general. That like I guess that was a way bigger market than I thought, or at least has become a bigger market.
Yeah.
Because the first Warped Tour I went to, I think I don't know if it was in Orlando. I think it was at USF. It was a soccer arena or whatever, and then they changed it to St. Pete for some reason at the Vinoy Park after a while.
Okay.
Which was way better. It's a lot closer for me, but it's just basically I think it's just space. So most likely Orlando might just have the most space for them to use that would be available for them.
Okay.
Because like the USF one was a lot of it was on parking lot, which fucking sucked.
Yeah,
like
no,
when
it's
they moved it to the park, it was a lot more grass
Yeah,
and stuff.
the LA one makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The Florida one, I'm fine with. I go, Florida's real popular.
And there's
Real big fucking state. There's like a lot of great bands are from Florida, like A Day to Remember. A lot of good bands like that.
Under Oath.
Yeah. There's a lot of good bands from Florida. I'm just like when you think
Against Me.
Yeah, when you think of
Less than Jake.
Okay, get
Poison the Well.
All right, there we go. Which actually they're on tour right now.
O-Town,
O-Town,
Backstreet Boys,
Florida.
NSYNC,
Flo Rida, I think.
I want to double check that.
I'd have to look it
I'm
up.
pretty sure that's just,
ChatGPT.
it's actually just satire.
Yeah.
I'm actually from Georgia.
I'm actually from Boston.
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina.
I never even heard of Florida.
Yeah.
He's like, where?
Oh no, I'm Florida.
Oh no, see,
You're mispronouncing it.
My ride's got a good flow in it.
They named a place after me.
Everyone's there like, guys, I think Flo Rida is retarded. No,
But yeah, it's a bigger. I think it's
but
a
there's
bigger
like
market.
a lot of. I just thought, because I guess the DC or wait, where is? I'm retarded. Where's Washington D.C.? That's our capital?
Just the District of Columbia.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
northeast.
Yeah. So I thought there would have been.
They're hitting that boom, bam, boom.
I always got confused because isn't in the Northwest there's a place called Washington?
Washington State.
Yeah.
This is the District of Columbia. It's not technically a state, Andy. It's actually a district
Yeah, I'm dumb.
of Columbia
You zoom out, the roads look.
because it was built on cocaine.
The
Thanks,
roads look
Ronald
like a
Reagan.
Pentagon? What's that about? No, but I just thought, I don't know why. I just thought like Jersey would have been a better like northeast location.
I was trying to think. Yeah, DC's not good. I was thinking New York or Jersey, but again, the space part of it. But there's no space in DC. Maybe Maryland.
I don't know. It's
or
at
something like that.
RFK campus. I wonder if it was just like stupid because it's like every time I've heard about anyone putting on shit in New York, they just go on about like how fucking expensive it is. So like Warped Tour closed down because they didn't have fucking money. So I could see New York being too expensive. Jersey, but also DC's like not cheap either.
It might have just been like it could have been. Maybe they're thinking of influential like cities, but like again, Orlando. You would think Gainesville before Orlando. Because of all the other like all the bands and shit like that. Like
yeah, I'm sure they're going. You talking about space makes more sense than just being like, you know what I mean? If they did it based off cultural significance, they'd do it in fucking New Brunswick, New Jersey. You know what I mean? Because like half those bands are either from there or sound the way they do because of the emo scene in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But you're like, where are they gonna put on a whole?
Yeah, where's their like again? Where's there like a park?
Yeah,
that's big enough for that.
Yeah. It was funny too because people were bitching about the price because they were like, oh, I remember when Warped Tour was $40, and you're like, well, that's probably half the reason it closed down.
Yeah.
And two.
No. I know what you're saying.
I'm being half funny,
but there was a fuck ton of sponsors. Like that was the thing that really kind of pissed me off after a while, where I'm just like. I can't. There's nothing here that doesn't have like Sprint or fucking like some crazy shit all over it. Like it was nuts how many sponsors they had.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'd love to find out specifically because it's not always obvious. Like my favorite example is people go like, "Well, obviously Netflix killed Blockbuster," and if you look into it, you go. Netflix honestly had nothing to do with killing Blockbuster. Blockbuster killed Blockbuster.
Right.
They had an opportunity to acquire Netflix. They had like a whole Netflix style.
Yeah, I remember. I worked there at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember because like specifically when I started, it was like a real fucking eye opener. When I was doing my introduction, like my what's it called, orientation videos and shit.
Oh wait, you got hired at Blockbuster at the beginning of the end.
Essentially, yeah, because it was like they were doing their Blockbuster Express or whatever, the same thing. But their thing was you had the option. One of the tiers was you could bring in a physical copy, like your Netflix thing, and the advantage was you could do that and get your next rental there. You don't have to wait in the mail. So if you just
they honestly had a better business
model. It was better, yeah.
That's the thing.
But the thing they wanted us to focus on was upselling. Instead of just being good customer
Yep,
service thing. They wanted you going like, hey, you want popcorn with that? Hey, you want candy? This is an opportunity for you. Now they're in the store. See, we've got them back in the store. Now that we've got them back
wanna buy
in,
a
you have
poster?
to sell them things. And it's like they are already paying for this.
But also, the other element that fucked them over was just bad business decisions and debt.
Yeah.
They had better
And-
infrastructure than Netflix.
And me hitting that snack bar.
yeah, and Pat just being like, "Why are we?
I work here.
How do we lose $1 million on Skittles?"
Yeah, we just got a case of Butterfinger bites. Where did they go?
Oh no, but I was looking at the price, and like if you crunch the numbers, it was like the tickets were like
It's
$100.
like $1 a band. You fucking idiot.
It's not what I mean.
Yeah, you're gonna say it.
It's not.
This is a good deal, actually. It's basically, when are you gonna see Under Oath for $1.50? Okay. Sure, it's only a half hour.
Not what I was gonna say. I was not gonna make that decent point. No.
Wait, how much are tickets? You haven't said yet.
I don't know if I want to say it now.
Oh. I don't like your reaction.
I don't like your.
I don't like how you're talking to me.
I don't like your assessment of
I don't
me.
fucking like your tone.
No, so it's a 3-day thing, and the
Yeah.
tickets are like $140, $150.
3 days. Get up.
But if you do the math, it's like tickets were like $40 back in the
It's
day.
like $1 a band.
It's like stop.
It's literally $1.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
It's a great point, Andy.
I'm-
It is like $1 a
it's
band.
not, I mean, if you just keep saying that's what I'm saying, maybe you could trick a couple fucking idiots out there, but it's not what I'm saying.
Pound off in the comments if you agree with me. Andy was making that exact same point, and it's a great point.
No, I'm saying
Own it.
I'm saying if you do the math, you're paying the same daily rate you would do for how it was back in the day. It was like $40 a ticket.
About 40 bands.
It's probably actually more, you dumb fuck. I mean, if we want to go
Don't
down,
attack me.
If I will
Do
attack
not
you.
attack me.
If we want to go down your false flag
Are we
attack
counting
right
local
now,
bands?
If we want to go down
Or
your,
on the local band
if
stage?
we want to go down your
The Ernie Ball?
if we want to go down the logic of your psyop,
Remember the Ernie Ball stage?
your logic's not even good.
Ernie Ball stage. My friend, but that's in the parking lot. loser.
Realistically, it's probably 60 cents a band. If we're gonna get technical,
There, now we got him.
your joke doesn't even make sense.
He's doing the math now.
No, but
3 days is a nightmare to me. 3 days in a row of a concert all day is a nightmare to me.
if I got the money in a nice hotel, I can do it. That's fine to me. If like money's not an issue,
Yeah, then life's a dream, Andy. But it's not.
I'm giving you what?
Scenarios where this wouldn't be a nightmare.
Why'd you wait 4 hours to be the most unreasonable, logical person?
Because
in the fucking
I
room?
ran out of caffeine.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't make it my problem.
I'm sorry.
No, no. My whole point is, I go, if you just do the math on how much it costs to go to 1 day of Warped Tour, I go, it's not that much fucking different. To be
Do they
perfectly
split it up that
honest.
way? Or is it $140 a day? Do you know?
I think you can only go for, or maybe it's actually that's a good point.
Because that's the other thing. Is
I don't
like,
know if there's daily rates.
it's just so this kind of seems, it's unfortunate to say, but this does seem more like how I don't know. Instead of it kind of being a win-win, like with how we're talking about bands that do like we're gonna play the
Whoa,
30
when that happened?
what?
It's way more than what I said.
So maybe it is $140 a day. How much is it?
This 2 day in Florida says it's $230. I apologize. I remember seeing much lower prices.
So it might be 100 something a day. So, that might be right. It might add up to be about 100 and something a day.
You know what
after
that means?
taxes. What?
$3 a band.
So much more. Now, if you're talking about seeing Under Oath for $3, that's a little too much.
These are VIP tickets that are only left.
Okay.
Because this is Vans Warped Tour Orlando 2 day VIP.
And that's the other thing is I'm sorry, but how many fucking Warped Tours have ever sold out? It just feels like almost like this is more taking it. They figured out a way
So funny,
to overcharge for the same thing that you used to do and split it up in 3 days so that they can be more profitable. But it's not gonna be the same thing.
Dude,
This
and
is
they're
not
doing
gonna be the same
the,
thing as when you were a kid. I promise you that.
They're doing the bullshit too where it's like what the airlines do to you. They're like, would you like to pay $100 more to have a slightly less uncomfortable seat?
Yep.
And it's like, dude, literally they have a 2 day VIP tier 4 left. and it's $450. And one of the options are temperature controlled restrooms, and I bet you they're not even that great.
They're gonna be garbage, because it's one of those things
Gonna
where
fucking
now
use them 2 or 3 times.
they're catering again to the same audience that they had back in the day that didn't have money, that has disposable income now, and wants to go on their nostalgia trip and have mom and dad are going to go camp in Orlando for a couple of days because we want to go see our rock bands that we listened to when we were a kid. And they're just now taking advantage of that FOMO thing of like, oh, might not be back. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just going to and it's just going to be seeing a bunch of older bands that you used to see when you were a kid, making a joke about how crazy it is to be back and how awesome it is to be back and all this thing. Warped
Concerts
Tour.
drive me fucking crazy, dude. Just go, 2 days for Warped Tour for a bunch of bands who are, and I love
one day. It was always one day.
It's like a bunch of these bands who are like way past their prime, and you're gonna pay fucking $300, and by the end of the 2 days, you're probably gonna be out like
miserable.
You're gonna be out close to $1,000, and all this other shit. It's just like, dude, just go bring a 6-pack to your local hardcore show, as long as there's not a bunch of straight edge kids there. It's like literally just go to a fucking. Just go to like a. Well, they're aggressive. You see how much they want to run
So
and grab
am
the
I.
mic and. But there's a lot more of them, and they're way more. Actually, they might not be more angry than you.
We can come.
But anyway,
come on. Let's go. Me and you, straight edge kids.
But anyway, okay. But no, for real, just go to a local hardcore show. This shit's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Just stop doing this shit. Stop, like, don't get me wrong. There's definitely there's a thing where fucking Ticketmaster and fucking Live Nation have they don't, but they do have a monopoly over this shit, and they're doing all this shady bullshit. But can you guys just stop paying hundreds of dollars to go see a band play for 2 hours? Can you just fucking stop?
Yeah.
It's like there should. It's like the natural mechanism of the market where it's like, hey, here's a retarded price for this thing. And people should have some self-respect and go, oh, I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist because you're all emotional fucking morons who
Yeah.
are like, but I need to play Blink-182. I need to see them play First Date. I need to.
Yeah, I need to go be there. I need to be front row because I never got to see. And it's just it's a thing.
Spend
It's
$10 at a local show.
But also, just realize that this isn't going to be what you expected. It's not even how it was in the back in the day. It's not how Warped Tour is not multiple days. Warped Tour is one day. If they can't figure out how to make that one, there is way more value. I feel like once they announce these lineups,
What's the value like?
I'm going to tell you. A handful of these bands, 5 of these bands, right? Go on tour as a super nostalgia tour. Let's say even rent out a space, and each one of them has a headliner length set.
Yeah.
You pay $40 to $50 for that show, right?
How many bands?
Let's say 5. That's about $10 a band. Way more value. Have one whole day. Have the vendors, and this is something that
It's probably more like $7 a band.
if you no. $5? If it's $50, it'll be $10 for 5 bands.
I thought you said 4 bands.
No, 5 bands. Handful.
8 bands?
This is a handful.
I was getting my numbers mixed
See,
up.
this is my whole hand. It's a handful.
I thought you said 5 bands for $40.
No. So this is my mano.
Run it back. I think that's what he said.
Can we get that replay?
Get that replay.
It's about 5 bands.
But guys in the booth, I'm in my office. There's no one behind the monitor.
No, just a sniper on the roof over there.
Oh. Right here.
Okay, give it that.
Do it
But
now.
I feel like there's more of a NoFX did this, or Fat Mike more with the Punk and Drublic Festival, or it's a beer, craft beer and music festival.
Yeah.
That was way more Warped Tour. I went to that, and that was even multiple days.
Dude.
But any one of those days
look
was
who's okay with multiple days now.
any one of those days was they had a different headliner each day, right?
Dude, honestly, that's the move.
One of them was Offspring. Dude, that was incredible.
Bro, one of the happiest days of my life. Me and my wife went to go see Newfound Glory at a beer festival.
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
That's way more. If you want the Warped Tour feeling, don't go to Warped Tour 2025.
Yeah.
Go to if like they have a like again the When We Were Young festival, that's probably more
yeah,
Warped Tour feeling than anything else.
Let me ask you this question, because like I think the whole like they're playing the entirety of blah blah blah. I go, bro, honestly, I'd rather go see a band play a couple songs I know and a bunch of new songs at like a nice venue over like, oh, I'm going to see fucking whoever the fuck, A Day to Remember is going to play all of For Those Who Have Heart, and I'm going to go to the concert, and the venue's going to be too huge, and I'm going to have to watch them on a Jumbotron the whole time. Or if I want to be able to see them up close, I'll have to stand in the front of the audience super dehydrated for fucking 3 hours during the day.
Waiting, missing other bands I want to go see.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, you'll be able to have this really cool experience if you make the rest of your day utterly shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just go to a local show, and the money you save, black out with that.
Yeah. I mean, or legitimate.
Also local band merch is cool. You're the only one who has it.
This is something I want to do this year.
How many people got a fucking Flagman shirt? They're not local.
Hey, by the way, my second one got sent finally.
Shout out Flagman. They watched the show.
Don't say the show doesn't make changes in the world. But I will say I think
there's a guy deleting his comment.
Damn it.
Turns out this show makes changes.
Fucking right.
I guess Drag the Lake makes changes.
I'm sorry. I retract my statement. But I feel like there's like this year, my pledge for at least this show, growth wise, is I would like us to be accepted as media at least a show or a festival, if not one a month. I mean, like that'd like
cool.
Whether it be like something like we just have to figure out, because I went to that Camp Anarchy with press credentials.
Yeah.
And was able to I met the lead singer of Fear, wonderful man. I interviewed Chris from Strung Out. Got to see a lot of the stuff from like a different angle, but was definitely caught off guard. I think we have the ability or we have something to actually offer.
Sorry, I'm looking up Strung Out.
No, you're right. We're any of those things, like we have.
Oh yeah,
we have the ability to go to. We have the knowledge and I feel like the ability to actually offer something in the world of music, reporting and media and stuff like that.
Can you imagine us walking around a music festival and like trying to get interviews, and they'd be like, it's you, me being like, okay, who did we call gay?
Yeah.
Who here did we call gay as shit?
But that's kind of the fun of it also. But I think that's
can't wait to watch you get beat up by Turnstile.
That's some fuck.
No, have you seen them recently? You can take on the whole band.
Bro,
at once.
I am not. If there's a band, that's why I choose my words wisely with Kubla Khan, but with Turnstile, I'm gonna go off on Turnstile.
I look up. I go, what's the combined weight of that band? I go, five guys. Gonna be
about five short of a pack of saltines. That's what I say, brother.
It'd be like 5 guys in the band, probably pushing 15 hundo.
Yeah.
This band's really good.
Yeah.
This is a really talented.
How
band.
much does he bench? All right. Well, he sounds really good.
You're like, do you say the guitarist can deadlift 5 hundo? Damn, he has like some solid riffs. That's why I love that I like Harm's Way. I don't want it. They all go to the gym. Harm's Way is all jacked. Yeah. I would never say a bad thing about Harm's
Wonderful
Way.
People. Great humanitarians. I think there's something that is
baby metal. Fuck you.
This is the part of this I feel like is the thing that is missing, and this is kind of a Drag the Lake resolution. The thing that's missing, I think, a lot in music media nowadays is a fan's perspective, a true fan's perspective.
Yeah, it's always like a fucking intern.
It's always you're trying to add insight and weird things that I don't think you actually know. Like, there's a lot more feeling that needs to be injected, I guess, and a lot less.
Dude, like when I got to interview Derek Bloom, the old drummer From First to Last, I was like, I nerded out so hard. I literally asked him, I was like, hey, why'd you tune your High Tom the way you did on your first album.
Right. Yeah, because we have those.
Because
like,
the way he tuned his drums was very different than a lot of other screamo bands I listened to at the time. And I go, why did you? Because he had his drums tuned to like a more metal style, and I was like, but I literally asked him about not even like the floor tom. Yeah. Like, why did you tune the high tom the way you did?
And the thing with like even specifically like I looking back on like my year this year, and like even when I went to that POD show with Norma Jean, like the conversations I had with the people, like with like the producer Matt / drummer of Norma Jean, he's produced the past couple of albums of theirs, as well as many others.
Yeah.
Like the conversation was had about like. How do you guys pick a set list? Because I noticed it was a lot different than a normal Norma Jean set list, but they're opening for POD, so maybe this is a good chance. And like,
that's a good point. Yeah, maybe you do maybe when you're with POD, you do a slightly more mainstream.
You don't do a Norma Jean set necessarily. Like that was the first time I ever saw Norma Jean, and they didn't play "Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste" or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, this is. And when they say certain like. It's not that they're trying to, be a different band. They're just they're complimenting the headliner and something like that.
It makes sense.
Not a lot of people notice that things, or not a lot of people are going to notice those settled things, whether it be the tuning of a tom or.
No, it makes sense because if you crunch the numbers on Norma Jean, it's like how many people at that POD show are really going to. Because it's like the Norma Jean fan is gonna go if you see Norma Jean's opening for POD.
Right.
You're like, I'll wait till they headline.
Yeah.
You're like, you may not want to go see POD like that.
Right.
So you might just like go, okay, am I gonna see Norma Jean for 20 minutes and then sit through an hour of POD?
Right.
You'll go, let me wait till Norma Jean's doing an hour. And yeah, so realistically, you're not having a lot of Norma Jean. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, I think so if there's anybody that you guys out there, all the Dragons out there listening and watching, if there's anybody that, like, you think would be good for the show or you want us to reach out to, I'm going to try to, at least to secure, whether it be over Zoom or if we can get in person when they're around the area, get some interviews with people that we want to talk to.
We should look for more interviews. I think that'd be fun.
Like just to mix it up. I also feel like we should get back to the album reviews.
Yeah, especially on like a slow week.
The classics, like some of maybe some of the other bands that we were talking about. We have the list. Right. Some of that stuff. I just feel like I think in general, like getting out there and actually being like, we need, if I can be so vain, we need a little bit more respect from the fucking music media community because we do a lot better job than a lot of you, and
we're good at the content part. We're not good at the marketing part.
But that's what I'm saying is like we may not be. That's what we want to know. We want to reach out to a community that you think would be receptive. So I know we can talk to anybody. I can talk to anybody. But I don't know exactly. I know who I may want to talk to, but something like having,
I can't talk to Joe.
Why not?
Fuck.
Bitch.
Fuck you.
Fuck who?
You.
All right.
Sorry. Go on.
You just hurt my feelings.
Well, you call me a bitch.
I don't want to do a show anymore.
You call me a bitch.
I'm sorry.
Are you good?
That's growth.
Is that what you said when you came in today?
What happened?
What happened? Andy, what the fuck happened?
What happened? No, I just want to go like.
I'm sorry.
No, that's a situation where like any time where I'm not as nervous about, like, I don't know. I think the more that I've been in the performing side of entertainment and kind of realizing, like, you realize a lot of these people are just talking to Tyler or anything like that. They're not.
Well, I've gotten.
It's not don't meet your heroes kind of thing of like, I don't know. Not to quote our show, I don't know. I got no more hero.
Well, and also too, it's like I'm not saying I'm like
ain't no more.
Like also too with like how I've been doing, because I've like gotten to interview some really cool people, and I've just been doing comedy long enough that like I'm not saying I'm like I'm around celebrities every night. I've just been around enough like famous people that after it's like there's the initial like like I was talking about it on stream the other day. Like I was chilling in the Mothership green room and I got to meet Rogan, and like. Yeah, obviously I had that initial second where I go, that's fucking Rogan, dude. Yeah. Holy shit. And then he sat down near us, and we were all like near the people I was hanging with, and we all just kind of had a conversation for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just like, it literally hit a point. I'm not trying to be like whatever about it, but it's like, it hit a point where you're like, I'm just talking to this guy.
Yeah.
You know? He might be the most influential guy in the fucking world, but he's like, I'm like in that moment, you're like, it gets to a point where you're like, you're just talking to a dude.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing too, where it's like, I'm not like worried about doing any of these fucking interviews because they're just it's just a dude or a chick at the end of the day.
I will say though, the only thing that I do know from experience from my time at Camp Anarchy, I do not do well when you won't do an interview.
Yeah.
But you're still talking to me.
If I can take
that bugs the shit out of me. When you clearly have the time and you are talking to me, but you will not actually commit to saying I will talk to you and on a thing, because that was something I had with the guy from the Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
Was like one of those things where I was like, hey, do you want to, I said, we got this podcast, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I don't do interviews with like the media. And I was like, well, it's not like media. It's a podcast. I was like, I don't know I know you don't listen to the show, but really we talk about like aliens and like paranormal stuff. And he's like, I've seen some shit on the road. I'm like, yeah, that's what we want. We don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, we're not trying to get you. I don't understand what you're talking. But he was like, he was super receptive to our content. He was talking to us already, and then made us wait for after he did this whole signing. And at the end, he's like, yeah, I don't think so. He's like, and I was just kind of like, all right, well, just say no, I guess. In general, don't say maybe, but I guess.
Did he say maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
like that was the thing. He's like, I don't do, and I clarified. I was like, we're not like, it's not like an interview. We're not sitting here giving you hard hitting questions. We just want to talk about like aliens and ghosts and shit, like alien ghosts and philosophy. That's the main themes of what we talk about. Yeah. And he's just like, no. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think, but I all think of these different. But all of these bands were on the media availability list. That's the thing. We reached out to the festival, and they said, "Here's a list of all the people that are available to the media. If you don't do interviews with the media, don't make yourself available." That's the thing that's the problem.
Okay.
So,
sounds like you were on the fucking complaining bitch list.
I got really angry at the end of that.
I don't know. It's I think guys like us forget like you could be like, hey, there's fucking there's like one schizophrenic guy that listens to my podcast. Do you want to do it? And you and me are gonna be like, yeah, I want to do a podcast. I just want to do a podcast. Yeah. I want someone to go, what do you think?
Yeah, in retrospect,
and there's a lot of dudes in bands who are just like, yeah, dude, I just want to play music and get back. And maybe his PR to I don't know.
In retrospect, like the things that I think what it was just the excuse. Like he was obviously giving excuses. If he was just like, I don't really feel like it.
Sounds like he talked to you for a while before he actually gave you a no.
We essentially got a pretty good interview, just a conversation of like, it was just a thing where like, also, I didn't want to, like, I don't want to be rude or anything, but like in 2019 or 18, whatever this was, it's not like, I'm not saying like, we're not trying to use you.
Yeah.
The Suicide Machines. Yeah. You know, like you're not moving the needle. And then that sounds disrespectful.
And then he can go like, oh yeah, well fucking,
you think
like, the Buddha Boys is going to be my big break?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is none of that. That's what I'm saying. We're not trying to break. We just want to I am a fan of your art. And like, this is kind of it was more of a reach out in that sense. But like, even since that, I'm like, I've learned to take a lot less things like that personally.
Yeah, you can't take
because that's the thing where I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? We're two strangers. He doesn't want to talk to us. It was just the stringing along that bothered me. Was the fact that I was just like, dude, I told you we're not media. Yeah. Like, we're literally not media. I'm not sitting there going, hey, can I get a hot take on? Like, and honestly, it's one of those things of take your name off the list. Stupid.
Okay. All right. You done being autistic?
No.
Okay. So yeah, we want to, unless you're in the Suicide Machines, we want to interview you.
I still would love to talk to you about your alien experiences. I want to know what you saw.
Nope, you made me sit through that whole story. I hate him.
It was just weird. It wasn't rude. It wasn't mean. It was just very weird. It was a very weird experience.
Fuck you. What's his name?
I don't know.
We're looking it up.
Chris? Probably Chris something?
What was it, the guitarist of Suicide
No, it was
Machines?
the lead singer.
Okay.
He had dreadlocks, my friend.
Ooh,
Hey.
guy had dreads.
Hey, how was it to be like? How was it like on the Tony Hawk soundtrack?
Hey, what's it like to have anyone give a shit about you?
Right. Like I didn't think I was doing him a favor. I was just like a fan of like. It's really weird that you don't want to talk to me. It's kind of
It's
strange.
funny,
like,
by the way, when you type in lead singer suicide, it goes you mean Suicide Tendencies? I go no.
The other one.
very popular band Suicide Machine.
Yeah, the other one. You know the other one. The Tony Hawk soundtrack.
Jason Navarro.
One. No way. Is that his name? Really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the Suicide Machines. Jason Navarro.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Let Pat interview you.
I already did. I already said
6 years ago.
and I quote, I've seen some things on the road. That was from the interview I conducted with you. Haha, I already got one. Nice try.
Yeah,
I got a quote.
yeah.
He didn't say off the record, so that was all. Guess what? I was media.
He was also Jason Navarro. Went to Diddy parties. I'm saying it right
He's
here.
wearing all white in his picture. Can't tell me different.
All white.
Allegedly. Maybe allegedly. on that one.
Nope. Confirmed. Has been quoted. Hitler did nothing wrong. That's also what he said.
He said that? I did. That was not for my interview.
That was during my
the
interview.
official interview I had with
He's
him.
like, hey, don't take it personally. I just don't like interviews because every time I get interviewed, I just start saying Nazi
I just start
stuff.
going off about how much I love
I
the white
just
race.
I can't stop talking about the Nazis and how fucking cool I think they are.
Even though I'm of a Hispanic heritage, I still love the whites the most.
Oh yeah, dude. Hispanics love being Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true. Jason,
That's the alleged.
Jason Navarro. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to.
The first person I'm reaching out to is Jason Navarro. I'm gonna DM him and I'm gonna say, hey man, you want to do an interview?
You want to do an interview
with our media outlet?
But you're on the list. And he's
Drag
like,
the Lake.
what list are you talking about? He's like, I'm at my house.
I'm gonna try to find that. Yeah. You're on my list, Jason.
You're on my.
Jason, you're on my list.
I believe you're on the list of shit. You're on my shit list, Jason.
Shit list.
Jason doesn't support the Nazis. That was actually a joke.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get out.
As far as we know.
I have to piss so bad. Guys, thanks for listening. We love you all. Have a good one. Be about a peace.